Hey friends, it's Aki Dearest. So I hope every bunny had a wonderful Easter weekend. So in today's video, What? Oh, you like it? You like my new hair? Tentacle-sama doesn't like change. But yeah, just getting the elephant out of the room, I am back to a blue color, but this time a more midnight purplish blue kind of shade. I figured since I'm gonna be gone in Japan for 2 months, I might as well go a little bit darker so that it fades a little bit lighter towards the end. So with that out of the way, in this video, I wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite anime from winter 2017. Specifically my top 3 because I did first impressions of these anime in my Otaku Monthly Favorites, and now that I have finished them, I wanted to give my final thoughts and just my overall review of the series, as well as a list of honorable mentions that I also enjoyed that I recommend to you guys. But before I get into that, for all of you anime fans and otakus out there wanting to stream on more platforms, trying to figure out subscriptions like Crunchyroll or Funimation, Mondo, Rooster Teeth, all of that is available on today's sponsor called Verve. Verve is a streaming service home to many of the channels that you probably already watched, such as Crunchyroll, Funimation, Nerdist, Rooster Teeth, and Cartoon Hangover, for all you bee and puppy cat fans. And for a monthly subscription, you can get access to all these channels and many more, or you can watch them for free, just with ads. If you're already premium with one of these channels, then don't worry, you can easily just partner that up with Verve, and you're good to go. So feel free to get your butt over there, sign up, pick an avatar. I'm sorry, they probably don't have Ahigal ones. And watch from multiple devices such as your computer, your gaming consoles, on your phone, in the bathtub, with a rubber ducky, watching Super Lovers, something like that. So get your butt down there, download the Verve app, and try out a 7-day free trial of their combo pack including Crunchyroll, Funimation, and more, all in one place ad-free. You guys can sign up at verve.co/combo pack or click the link in the description and let me know what you're watching. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get into it. Kicking it off, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on my favorite anime of winter 2017 called Kuzu no Honkai, or in English, Scum's Wish. I made a whole video dedicated to this because I just loved it that much just from first impressions. Scum's Wish is a romance anime, but not just the typical romance anime, a dark romance anime. This reflects the ugliest parts of what love can do to you, how your infatuations can often blur the lines between what is love and what is lust, and how sometimes your infatuations can bring out the worst in you and mess up any sort of logical thinking or sense of morality that you may have had prior to whoever you were falling in love with. How you will fight for both of you to be together. Every romance story usually just has one question that needs to be answered. Are these people going to end up together? While in Scum's Wish it's more like, why are any of you doing this? The characters in this series struggle with things that a lot of people go through, which is loving someone that you can't have, envy of someone having the one that you want, using someone just to fulfill your own selfish desires. I can imagine 2 types of fans for this anime. One being the people that have been there, that understand what it's like to be in a complicated relationship and understanding what it was like when you were first introduced to relationships and you don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to control your emotions, you don't know how to make the right choice, and how oftentimes we make a choice based off of how we feel and if it feels good rather than what is actually the right thing to do. The other side would view that all the characters in this anime are scummy, are selfish, are unforgivable, they are terrible people, and have no idea what it means to love themselves, let alone another person. So this is a dark romance anime. It's not for everyone, especially if you're the type of person that strictly just likes the classic romance. Scum's Wish doesn't really follow that, and you know what? I love this anime for every single one of those reasons. Sometimes our hearts can be a little bit more deceitful than we'd like to admit. So if you're into that whole love triangle mess up sort of thing, then definitely give this a shot. I think it's fantastic. My next favorite of winter 2017 is Youjo Senki, or the English title Saga of Tanya the Evil. The amount of fucks that Tanya gave throughout this entire series. So to summarize this anime, it starts off with the Japanese salesman who is completely against and opposing to the idea and existence of God. And lo and behold, guess what? God wants to reveal himself. But not before he's about to meet his inevitable death, by being murdered, by being pushed in front of a train by some douchebag. And in the most casual way possible, I'm going to be playing the part of both God and the salesman and Tanya.
What's all this talk that I hear about you not believing in me?
Oh, you mean like most of this country?
I don't appreciate your attitude. Here, I'll reincarnate you and give you another chance to have some faith in me. How's that sound?
Bite me.
Oh, feisty. I like you.
Reincarnated, going by the name Tanya, she begins a new life in a world filled with magic and wartime similar to World War II as an incredibly underage girl whose only ambition is to grow a successful career in military and win the war through being bloodthirsty and merciless to all those who stand in her way. Clearly, this isn't what BNX intended, so he's all like, wow, someone wants to go to hell now, don't they? With Tanya just being like, yeah, like the guy who pushed me to my death. He seems like a great candidate. You'll just think it was a favorite of this season, but I will have to admit the only thing I had trouble with was just like comprehending explaining the war tactics and the technicalities behind their plans and how they were going to win the war, which takes up like quite a bit of the dialogue throughout each series, but not enough that I didn't enjoy the story. The story itself is fantastic. It's a story that wraps itself around revenge and power hunger, and then just our main character Tanya, who just kind of like lives up to this infamous persona of just staying true to the English title. Thank you, Aki, for pointing out the obvious. The studio behind this, the name is Nut, which I've never heard before. I guess it's a new studio, and I've heard that there are some links to Mappa and Madhouse that were in part of the creation of the studio. Even though the studio's new, I hope they continue on with Yojo Senki, and whether that be in a second season or maybe just do what No Game No Life did, which is just continuing on with the light novel and eventually just making an entire anime movie with Yojo Senki. However they want to do it, there's still a lot of things that need to be done. There's a lot of revenge that still hasn't been met. The last anime I'm going to give my final thoughts on is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. This is a slice of life with hints of a lot of comedy, as well as chubby legs, sexy heterochromatic eyes, and the dragons and the humans start learning a little bit more about one another, trying to live in peace and harmony, while at the same time, as the anime progresses and how it ended, it's just giving a very classic life lesson. Several life lessons, one of them being a very classic one that even though they're different, there's actually a lot that they have in common that they should really just be kind of basing their friendship off of, which is what they did. Even though it was dragons versus humans, by the end of it they realized, and throughout each episode, that their lifestyles aren't that much different and that they can live in harmony. One of the biggest examples of this was Fafnir and the other otaku who, his name escapes me. What's his name? Takia, that was his name. Fafnir as a dragon meets the stereotype of just being very angry and very cynical towards human beings, but throughout of it, maybe he was actually just a little bit tsundere. They introduced Fafnir as this very shut-in dragon that stays in his cave, that has all his treasures to himself, but then he meets Takia, a shut-in otaku with figures and anime merchandise, and he values all of that and just has it shut in within his apartment. What is really the difference between the two besides where they come from and who they are? So they were a match made in heaven, and it was just adorable seeing these two together. And throughout the series, also Toru, the main dragon character of the series, was being asked, like, why do you even waste your time with this human? You know that she basically just lives a minuscule part of your life, being a dragon that can live for thousands and thousands of years, and she will probably die in what equivalents to you is like maybe just a couple of years. And to Toru, she kind of makes this decision of, I really don't care. What matters to me more is the memories that we create with one another and what we will do for the time being, and I won't regret ever knowing her. Most of the dragons didn't really understand this, but they did open themselves to the idea and still kind of continue on just being around Kobayashi or Fafnir being around Takia. But the traditional characters, which were like the parents of Toru, are still kind of with this idea. I thought this was a really fun anime and I enjoyed the ride. I liked where it left off, though there were some things I wish I could have seen that maybe they're in the manga because I haven't read it yet, which is also available on Bookwalker if you guys want to read it. I wish that there were a couple of things I could have seen from this anime, such as, you know, Lukua's dragon form. That would have been nice to see. I know we had like a little bit of a sneak peek during the openings, but nothing really in the series. I tried to keep an eye out for that because as each episode was progressing, I was like, are we ever going to see her dragon form? But I guess not. So yeah, those were my 3 favorite anime of winter 2017, and here are some of the honorable mentions that I still recommend to you guys. First one is Interview with Monster Girls, a heartwarming slice of life where these monster girls known as Demi are more accepted into society, but still stereotyped and prejudged in other ways. A professor at the school works to understand them more and help them feel more comfortable in the world. Also available on Bookwalker. My other one is Little Witch Academia, a story following a normal girl who attends a school for witches where she befriends students and proves her wit to be just as powerful as the others and maybe more. In case you didn't know, the series, by the way, was funded by fans who gave it high demand after the release of the short film came out first. And the film is short, and for some reason it just managed to smoothly explain so much information but still entertain at the same time. You also get like a mix of Disney and Harry Potter vibes from this. Ah yes, and Nyanko Days. This is a children's anime and you guys should totally watch it. Each episode is 2 minutes long and it will really help you if you're just having a very terrible day and you just want a dose of cat girls. By the time that you watch like the first episode, you will probably need to punch a hole in the wall to feel somewhat tough again. So that was all the anime that I really appreciated for winter 2017. Let me know in the comment section down below of what you guys really liked in that season. Did you guys like these series? Did you guys not like them? So I appreciate you guys for watching and subscribe to my channel for more anime and otaku related content, and I will see you guys in the next video. For a little bit we're gonna go through this back and forth thing with my hair where it's like old to new, old to new. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Bye!